Hello, I'm Executive Chef Joseph Schutzer. Welcome to our kitchen. Today I'd like to share with you my recipe for a stuffed pepper. This recipe is inspired by my grandmother's version, and naturally I made modifications throughout the years. There is no shortage for different recipes for stuffed peppers. You know, every culture has a version, I'm sure, and within that culture, every family has their own twist and version of it. All of it is great. Don't let anybody tell you different. So, join me now as I share with you my recipe for this. Well, let us begin with cleaning our peppers. What I like to do is to minimize the amount of waste, is to come in vertically from the top, outside the core, and just go ahead and saw your knife blade in a circular motion around the core. Once you break it free, go ahead and put your finger to it, gently pull it out. Tap out some of the excess seeds, and there will be some lining from the rib inside there. Go ahead and pull them out. If you cannot reach it with your finger, by all means, go ahead and take carefully with the blade of your knife. Go ahead and make gentle cuts down through there and peel it out. Repeat with the remaining peppers. Our filling is ground beef this time. Feel free to substitute turkey, lamb, veal, sausage, whatever you want. We have a certified Angus beef, and if you notice the discoloration, that's due to oxymyoglobin. That is the reason beef is red. It's because the contact with the oxygen. The protein myoglobin turns red when exposed to oxygen. Because this was cryovac and there is no oxygen, therefore it discolors. Also, it will tend to come back a little more color once it's exposed again to oxygen, but it will never fully get all the way back to like a fresh grind. Now, please keep in mind that because it turns brown doesn't automatically mean that it's, the myoglobin. Your meat could be bad. So please always exercise caution and smell for it. If it's sour, check it. If it's sticky and any off odors and things like that, immediately discard. However, this I know was fresh when it was purchased and immediately frozen and properly handled, so I'm not concerned with that. Now, the seasonings of the meat. What I like to do is I will add onions and garlic that were lightly sauteed. I will then add rice. Try to use a long grain rice. Stay away from things like arborio and kalaspara or sushi rice and other short grain rices. I will then add some pepper, salt, and cheapish paprika, or a spicy paprika. Go ahead and mix well. Now, stuffing. I will take the meat and just stuff into the pepper. Now, a little trick is do not overpack it, because the tighter that you pack it, it takes longer to cook, and also I always feel that it dries out and really gets, compacted, where now keeping it gently pushed into there enables it to cook a little faster and stays moist. Also, keep in mind that the rice is going to expand. Although the meat will shrink due to moisture loss or water loss, the rice will expand because it's absorbing the waters. So we will put it into our pot that we're going to slowly cook them in, braise them. Pack the peppers snug to each other so they don't fall over. What'll happen is as you put the tomato juice into it, it will become buoyant and float and turn around on you. Well, now we have some extra ground beef left. What we like to do is make little meatballs from them. My grandmother always used to call them porcupine balls, because when the rice expands and cooks, it sticks out and, you know, has like a jagged edge. We'll go ahead and put these into the pot as well. So now that we have the porcupine balls made, let's go ahead and pour in our tomato juice. You want to pour in enough that will cover the peppers. And now that we have that covered, let's go ahead and put this on the stove and begin to simmer it over medium heat. Well, it's been simmering for about an hour and 15 minutes. And the rice is cooked. So now what we're going to focus on is finishing our sauce. So what I want to do is remove the porcupine balls and the stuffed peppers. Now to finish the sauce, let's bring it to a simmer and add sour cream. Now the sour cream, add as much as you like. I love sour cream, and I think that you couldn't possibly add too much, but use your discretion. Now let's go ahead and puree with a immersion blender. Now that the sauce is smooth and creamy, I will then bring it to a simmer and only simmer for an additional 5 or so minutes, and taste it and adjust the seasonings with salt, pepper, and paprika as needed. After the seasoning is to your liking and the consistency, you are ready for service. Well, there you have my version of my grandmother Grace's stuffed peppers. We used to use bell peppers a lot in the off season, and during the summer when the garden was flourishing, we would use the Hungarian wax peppers for a spicier version, or using the sweet. Feel free to use whatever pepper you like. It doesn't matter. As far as the filling as well, feel free to use, you know, lamb, veal, pork. Again, it's personal preference. It's a very simple dish and very flavorful. It's a good, I like to call it comfort food. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. I hope it shows you another version of stuffed peppers, you know, different from yours, maybe give you an opportunity to try it, or just some other variation. Feel free to subscribe, be up to date with our latest posts, and you like what we're doing, give us a thumbs up. Thanks again. Jó étvágyat!